Piazza San Marco. 30 million tourists a year. They take photos. They buy masks. They feed the pigeons. And they don't know they're standing on bones. I have seen cities fall to swords and fire. But this city died differently, quietly, on the water. And it invented the word for its own salvation. Quarantine. 1346. Crimea. The port of Kaffa. The Mongols have been besieging the Genoese fortress for over a year. But their army is melting away. Not from swords, from disease. Black buboes on necks and groins. Death in 3 days. The Mongols do what? If we believe the chronicler Gabriele de Mussi, no one had done before. They hurl plague corpses over the walls with trebuchets, the first biological weapon in history. The Genoese flee in panic on their ships. Galleys sail into the Mediterranean. On the ships, rats. In the rats, fleas. In the fleas, the bacterium Yersinia pestis. All of it sailing toward Venice. In January of 1348, galleys from Kaffa enter the lagoon. On board, the dead and the dying. Sailors with black marks on their skin. Captains who cannot stand on their feet. Venice opens its port to them. By April, the plague is inside the city. Venice is one of the largest cities in Europe. 100,000 people, overcrowding, canals, rats everywhere. The perfect trap. 25 to 30 people buried every day near Rialto alone. Bodies lie in the streets. The stench from houses where the dead remain uncollected, because there is no one left to collect them. The Doge appoints a committee of 3 wise men. They are powerless. Bodies are carried out by boat. Rowers transport the dead to islands in the lagoon. Those who row become infected themselves and die on the way back. Venice loses half its population, 50,000 dead. Doge Andrea Dandolo records in his chronicle, "The city is empty. Officials are fleeing." In July, the council forbids leaving Venice under threat of losing status and property. But the plague does not read laws. There are too many dead. The cemeteries are full. So Venice does what only a city on water can do. It gives its islands to the dead. Lazaretto Vecchio, a small island in the lagoon. There was a monastery here. 5 monks. In 1423, after yet another wave of plague, the world's first permanent plague hospital will open here. 200 beds. Those who survive will leave. The rest will stay forever. The chronicler Rocco Benedetti will write of the plague of 1576. 500 people died every day. It was like hell. But in 1348, it was even worse. There is no time to dig graves. Bodies are laid in layers, one on top of another, in pits. Archaeologist Matteo Barini, who studied the burials, will say, layer upon layer, like lasagna. 1,500 skeletons found on one island, thousands more still underground. But the lazaretto is overflowing, and so Venice begins using other islands. Poveglia, a small island south of the city. They bring not only the sick here, they bring those suspected of having the plague, and those already dead, the living, together with the dead. The sick are unloaded onto the shore. Doctors meet them wearing masks, with long beaks stuffed with herbs. They believe the herbs purify the air of disease. They are wrong. Bodies are thrown into pits. When the pits overflow, they burn them. According to National Geographic, over 100,000 people died on Poveglia. Locals say the soil on the island is half human ash. Fishermen still avoid it. They are afraid of pulling up bones. Venice survives and learns its lessons. In 1423, after yet another wave of plague, the Senate creates the world's first permanent quarantine hospital on the island of Lazaretto Vecchio. In 1468, a second island, Lazaretto Nuovo. Here, ships wait 40 days before entering the city. Quaranta giorni, 40 days. The Venetian authorities call it contumacia, isolation. The word is still carved into the walls of the Lazaretto, but the people will remember a different word, quarantina. 40 days. It will outlive the plague, outlive the Venetian Republic, outlive the centuries. In 2020, the whole world will learn it again. Cargo was fumigated with rosemary and juniper. Coins were washed in vinegar. People were kept in separate sections, family from family. They did not know how the plague spread, but their system worked. Venice created the world's first public health system, 400 years before germ theory. Today, if you look carefully at certain squares in Venice, you will notice the center of the square is 18 centimeters higher than the edges. It is not architecture. Beneath the squares, mass graves, bodies that could not be taken to the islands in time. Plague doctor masks, the long beak stuffed with herbs, are now sold as souvenirs on every corner. Tourists try them on and laugh. These masks are the symbol of one of the greatest catastrophes in human history and the most ingenious response to it. Venice lost 50,000 people, then lost more and more. The plague returned again and again in 1361, 74, 1400, 1423, dozens of times over 3 centuries. But Venice did not die. It became the first city in history to systematically fight a pandemic. Not with prayers, not by fleeing, with logic and organization. I have seen cities die. This city should have perished. But Venice is not a victim city. Venice is the city that looked at the plague and said, "We do not understand you, but we will outlive you." But there are other stories, other cities. Until next time.